We're excited to sit down today with Bremont's new Terra Nova collection. It was a big announcement earlier this year, lots of new, but it's a watch that we've actually found quite more impressive in the metal, and we're going to share with you all the reasons why.
Okay, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am George Reed. I'm the Fine Timepiece Director here at Oliver Smith Jeweler. And this is Elizabeth Smith, Managing Director of all things Oliver Smith. So today in front of us, we have live the full collection of the Bremont Terra Nova.
And it's kind of their new staple for Bremont. Bremont had a whole new rebrand this year. We'll link that video for you. We did that after Watches and Wonders. Terra, Land, Nova, new collection.
Okay.
Really meant to be a sports watch at a fantastic price, so we'll talk about. But there's 4 pillars to this watch I think that make it special.
Okay.
British, how robust it is, visibility,
Absolutely.
and comfort. So
Okay.
we're going to follow each of those 4 categories because it tells the story of the Terra Nova really well. First, British. Bremont is very proud to be fully integrated British manufacturer. If you know a little bit about watch history, back to 1700s. I mean, British was the hub for watchmaking.
Yep.
Bring it back is a big deal. They're very proud of that. They're located about an hour west from London. Henley-on-Thames.
Correct. Yeah, the Wing.
The best town name. I mean, it's so British.
You can picture it. Close your eyes. You've been there. You can picture it. Yeah.
And they call the Wing a beautiful glass building. It overlooks the countryside. And this is where all these watches are created, tested, designed. It's actually kind of rare, I think, in the watch world to also have the design in-house where the manufacturing is happening.
Yeah. I do think most manufacturers keep those separate, but I like the thought of having the creative with the practical. That way, if there's an issue here, it can be very, very easily solved. I think it's a smart way to run a company.
So let's talk about how robust they are. And one of the biggest stories from this year was that they've switched the stainless steel that they're using in the pieces.
Yep, they're doing a 904L, which for those of you who've been around for a little while is pretty infamous. That's what Rolex uses.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons to use 904. It is a little bit harder than 306. It holds a little bit of a better luster when you're polishing it. Most importantly, it's non-corrosive. People don't realize that. A lot of your dive watches in 306L, if you're diving, particularly in the ocean, clean your watch after. Over time, it will pit, it will corrode. You don't do that. And gross, clean your watch. But the 904 is a lot more corrosive resistant. You don't necessarily have to do that or be as diligent about it.
Have you seen the corrosion in person before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Doing this as long as I have, you see a lot of stuff, good and bad, and sometimes patina is actually damage.
Not a good thing. Next up, visibility. Now, we do hear complaints in store from clients on different watches that they simply cannot read the watch.
Yeah.
So there's too much going on with the hands, the dial, it's too small, whatever it is. You're going to be able to read this watch. But the story really here is about the 3D luminescence, the super luminova. It is hands down my favorite part of this watch.
Yeah.
Get it in person and see how it's placed. There's no metal on the side, so you're going to get full luminova from all angles. I don't know. I would love to see a video about how they make it.
Well, and it's kind of cool. I think the black loom.
Yeah.
Without having a border around it, you absolutely nailed it. You get not only more visibility, but you get this side visibility that's kind of crazy. I remember when Panerai first did it on their Carbotech subs, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So this is kind of doing the same thing here, but with this really cool vintage font to the Arabic numerals. And I am a loom hound. I sleep in a watch, so 3 o'clock in the morning, I still need to be able to. I know it's weird. I'm such a watch guy, but so this is. I feel this. This is really what I got. Absolutely, man, it's fabulous.
And it plays into the design. They say the Terra Nova collection was inspired by 20th century vintage military pocket watches.
Yeah.
I think this Luminova, the block numbers give it that vintage feel.
Yeah, and particularly the font they use, that little bit of a serif, just really does kind of harken back to that. It just feels very British to me.
Yeah.
I can see the pocket watch. I can see the guy wearing it. I think that's very, very cool.
And finally brings us to comfort, which is a big thing with Bremont and the Terra Nova collection. They really want it to be an outdoor sports watch. They want it to be comfortable. I think the story starts in the bracelet and the smaller links.
Absolutely. Yeah, the smaller links remind me a lot of the early, again, I'm just going to reference the early Breitling bullet bracelet. For those of you who were around at the time, it's actually Jerry Seinfeld really put it on the map. Jerry's character wore Breitling, and there was this bullet bracelet. Well, what's that? And he almost introduced Breitling to the U.S., but this reminds me a lot of that, the feel. Each one of those little links individually curves. Yeah. So between that and the ergonomics on the back side of the case itself, wearing it's great. It just kind of melts into the wrist. It's absolutely wonderful.
They've lowered the case height as well. The geometric case of the watch kind of helps curve to the wrist. I think they've done a really great job with the bracelet. We pay really close attention to bracelets here at Oliver Smith. We talk about them a lot. I think they've done a really great job of incorporating the brushed stainless steel with the high polish, because the brush is going to help hide those scratches, especially if you're really wearing this outdoors.
Well, and it's kind of wild too, because the high polish is almost hidden between the lugs. So as the bracelet curves, you see this peak of the high polish, where where you're going to contact other things is going to be that satin. I think it's really, really smart.
Let's actually talk about the lugs, since you mentioned that on these watches. These are pretty serious, robust lugs and play into that geometric shape.
Yeah, it's kind of got that vintage cushion shape, the television shape, the cuisine, but the lugs are a little bit longer. So when it comes to the sizes that they represent, don't let the numbers fool you. These wear a little bit bigger than the numbers would belie, but I like the thinness of the case.
Yeah.
I like the oversize of the crown. Again, hugging into that vintage kind of territory. It's meant to be used with gloves on, kind of a thing.
The big crowns. You could actually manipulate it with your gloves on. It'll just be nice, a little bit more comfortable.
Super comfortable, yeah.
But to George's point, we found that they're wearing larger. So round up the sizes. I think there's a 38 millimeter, there's a 40.5, so to round it up to 41, and there's a 42.5, so round that up. And they do have quick release strap options on this, the bracelet as well, which is really handy. If you were to purchase a bracelet piece, does it come with the other strap?
If you wanted a strap, I can get you a strap, no problem at all. But what I always recommend to people when they're buying watches, new, pre-owned, whatever, if you're even remotely thinking about buying a watch that has both options, buy it on the bracelet. If you buy it on the bracelet, you're getting the bracelet at half price. Whereas something like this, buying it bracelet versus strap is going to be, I think it's a $500 or $600 difference. To buy that bracelet separate is going to run you about $1,400.
Yeah.
So just the smart money is on buy the bracelet.
Go with the bracelet. Yep. They're easy to change at home. Which one's your favorite, George?
Oh, honestly, this one here was the one I was really all about when we were in
the anthracite.
Yeah, the anthracite with the Fotina, and looks like absolutely fabulous. This green's kind of winning me over.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because you see everything months and months and months ago, and you have these like hard opinions, and then you start seeing it live, start seeing it in the light, and especially in your own environment, going, oh, well, maybe that one's a little bit better. So
speaking to me today.
So if you like this content, please like and subscribe. If you have something to say, put it down below. We are always here to take your comments. You can call the store, talk to us live. We have multiple stores now. We've got 2 here in Scottsdale. We're at Gainey Ranch and at Scottsdale Fashion Square. Yes. If you are fortunate enough to be traveling up to Aspen, please say hi to the boys up there from us.